Good day, everyone. My name is Stephanie Ratelle. I'm a biologist in the Gulf region of Fisheries and Oceans Canada, or DFO. I'm joining you from Mi'kma'ki, the traditional unceded and unsurrendered home of the Ilnu. Today I'll be presenting the important habitats of the North Atlantic right whale in eastern Canadian waters on behalf of my co-primary author, Angela Vanderlyn, and co-authors Elizabeth Thompson, Kevin Sorochin, Olivia Pisano, and Adèle Labbé. To support the implementation of the Species at Risk Act, a number of actions require scientific information on the current status of a species, threats to its survival and recovery, and the feasibility of recovery. This is typically developed through a recovery potential assessment process, which includes 22 elements. My colleagues Angela and Katya will be elaborating on the right whale RPA work during the sessions identified at the bottom of the slide. An RPA was first conducted in 2007, and the recovery strategy was published in 2009 and amended in 2014, where critical habitat in Roseway and Grand Manan basins were identified and legally protected from destruction in 2017. Coinciding with this timeline, major changes in right whale distribution were observed, which highlighted the need for an updated RPA. For this part of the RPA, we updated the habitat requirements of the population, addressing 3 of the 22 elements. This included a description of the habitat properties needed for successful completion of the life cycle processes and a description of the functions, features, and attributes of this habitat, a description of the spatial extent of the areas likely to have these habitat properties, and a description of the activities likely to destroy these habitat properties in the area identified. SARA program provides standardized terminology to be used to support the RPA process in order to facilitate a nationally consistent approach. From these guidelines, habitat features and attributes were identified and described for each right whale life stage and for females and males when requirements differ. We were also able to use supplementary information associated with right whale visual sightings to support the identification of habitat use, i.e. functions. Right whales rely on a variety of eastern Canadian habitats for foraging, gestation, rearing, socialization, socializing, reproduction, movement, and migration. Right whales depend on specific habitat features and attributes vital for these functions, including prey supply, marine environment, bathymetric features, water column, physical space and corridors, acoustic environment, and water and air quality. A key driver of right whale habitat use is prey availability and the formation of dense prey aggregations, but right whales also require unimpeded space and connectivity among habitats to move within and between them. To identify important habitat, we incorporated information from visual and acoustic detections of right whales, historical right whale distribution, prey models, and habitat suitability models in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. This approach allowed us to map locations where right whales have been detected, are predicted to be detected, and/or where optimal right whale prey abundance is available or anticipated. By synthesizing these data, we enhanced our understanding of right whale distribution and aggregation in Canadian waters, while also identifying likely habitats based on foraging energetics where right whales may currently reside or shift due to ongoing distributional changes. The data were synthesized to evaluate the relative importance of various areas in eastern Canadian waters for the North Atlantic right whale. And given the evidence provided, one large contiguous area was identified, the pink polygon in the map. The important habitat is further separated into areas that support feeding, gestation, rearing offspring, socializing, and mating, and areas providing key habitat connectivity for migratory movement. These are listed in the slide and identified in the map. We also added the potential feeding habitats represented by the blue-green polygons on the map. As per federal guidance, an activity is considered to be destructive when there is a temporary or permanent loss of a function when it is required by the species. Examples of activities likely to destroy critical habitat is mandatory under subsection 41(1) of the Species at Risk Act, and although they do not constitute a regulatory statement, they do inform and support the protection and management of critical habitat. Example ALTD activities were required and included fishing activities, vessel traffic, underwater noise, industrial activities, and wind energy development and production. Ultimately, disruption of the important environmental features and attributes that support vital functions may result in the reduction or removal of a suitable habitats, forcing right whales to seek other optimal areas, as we've seen in the last decade. This was a very quick overview of the RPA elements to update the important habitat of North Atlantic right whales in eastern Canadian waters. This work would not have been possible without the immense contribution of our co-authors and the very large list of people on the screen. I look forward to discussing this further and answering your questions. Merci.